be my Valentine. Can I hit the making with temperature days? If you leave me a good time, I swear. You are like the oxygen I need to survive. I'll be honest. I'm loving the thought of me. I am so obsessed. I want to chop your heart. Never did it back and it's real. Open up, make us feel. Yeah, my love, one thing. We make a bad man sing.
It's really hard sometimes to differentiate between ethnic diversity and social, economic diversity. So but think about that for a minute. We're in 2022, and people of colour are dying because medical devices cannot read their oxygen levels properly. That is such a poor position to be in. Why is it? Is it because our device teams or our design teams that designed this device here weren't diverse? Probably weren't, right? I mean, look around. Guys, look around. Look left and right. How many people of colour are there in the room who actually work for agencies or product development companies? Lack of representation, massive. You're going to get bored of me saying this, but how many of us are there out there, really? I mean, there's a reason I support Liverpool FC, and that's John Barnes. And we've all got examples of representation, right? We've seen it in Wimbledon. Lack of opportunity. So I think there are very few schemes aimed at solving these issues. And then access. People of colour do not have the same access to the same opportunities. And what I mean by that is, I'll put it into context. A lot of the people who we see coming through KD have probably got that because, or had some sort of time at the experience because maybe their neighbours know someone who works and they're probably a postcode to no one laughing, Bishopston, Redden, you know the type, not where our directors live. They know people, right? They can get in. You know the crack. So what we did, we're creating the ultra employable, really. I won't read this all out to you, you can read it yourself. But basically, we're going to get some people in from a minority ethnic background. We're going to sponsor them. We're going to give them mentoring. We're going to give them ready-made networks of external councils and our own council. So they've got everything to succeed. They've got support networks. I mean, what would they want? We're going to make them so powerful. They come out, they're going to apply for jobs, and you guys are going to have to employ them. So how am I going to reach the right people? It's really difficult. But what I do need is for everyone in this room to push this scheme. And don't push it with our logo on it. Push it with your own logo on it. Take this up. This year we've made the application process a bit easier. We've added to the external council. I'm proud to say that Unilever jumped on board this year. We've increased outreach to schools. We've done some really good things with local schools. Today, take this. We're open sourcing the scheme. We really need to start reflecting the people we're designing for. And looking at this room right now, I'm sorry to say we're just not. So let's up our game. It doesn't take much to do this. I'll give you the blueprint, come and talk to me. Whatever you need from me, I'll give to you. That's all I can give you with my time. But this is the message for me. Those really small things make a massive difference. However small you think they are, please do them. Because you just don't know what it's going to turn into. It's going to be that small ripple and it will go big. So please, if ever you're doubting yourself and you think, am I making a difference? Do I need to do it? Am I really going to make an impact? Just do it. I guarantee you something will come with it. And with that, that's me. For those of you who aren't from around here, please enjoy Bristol, enjoy my hometown. I hope you enjoyed it. Come find me if I can answer any more questions and if I can help you with any of these schemes. Just holler. That's me. Thank you very much.
So we're Maynard. A lot of you already followed us, or maybe not, but what we are is we are a platform advocating for race and gender diversity in the UK physical product design space. Unfortunately, it's a mouthful of product design isn't word involved. So physical product design space. And we realise that about this a lot, and there's always posts, and everyone knows that there's this huge inequality and imbalance going on. So what we're really doing is we're trying to be a single space where people come together and ask questions, have conversations, and just try and understand what's going on to create these imbalances and what we can do to work out either afterwards. So through conversations, some ideas we've had through conversations, through educational guides, through just working together on creative strategies on some key points such as recruitment, retention, education systems, and general support, basically. We're going to push forward and keep pushing forward to make sure things start to change. So you can use this space to connect, or you can use it to talk to us, post ideas, personal experiences, anything. Or you need help and you're you don't know, you've got an embarrassing question, you don't know what's going on, ask us, because we might not know, and a lot of us don't know. Sometimes it's not actually an answer, but we're creatives, we're youth and creativity, and we will figure it out together as long as we're driving forwards. Now, blended, really important point I like to say, or two actually. One is, we know it's not going only diversity issue going on. So if people, as Hayley and I are females, but we are white, and we're reasonably, we've done all right. Yeah, we've done all right. So if you have any other issues, like come to us, and we can try and include them, try and push forward. But we're going off our own experiences. Other point is we need everyone to be involved. This is not a place for blame. It's not about feeling guilty about what might have happened in the past, what's happened throughout history. But you can't change history. We're looking at right now, like where we are now, where we can be, and take actions to get there. So we want to be action-based, basically, and work out the next steps. What was after that? So if we work out the next step. Yeah, that was it. So, majority of you, the reason we think this is going to work is because we've already had so much support. Okay. Just from posting, when did we put this up? 2 weeks ago? Yeah. And we've had 160 or so people already following, had loads of messages. We're realising the issue is not that people don't want diversity. People completely understand the value in diversity in their team. It's the strategy we're not quite getting. For some reason, we're getting stuck somewhere, and we need to work together to know why we're getting stuck and work out how to healthily build more diverse teams. So maybe what Brad said, he's already gone into it. Where does this start? How can it finish? So, Hayley, on to you. How are we thinking it's going to finish?
I was going to say, I'm not going to bore you with the same stats again. I think Brad actually did a great job of talking through the stats, but someone said to me the other day when I brought this up, the 95% now thing, they went, no, I work with loads of women. I was like, great. Nearly 5 senior female product designers go. And they sat there and they went, shit, she wasn't senior. Oh no, that one was a researcher. She was a project manager. And he slowly had the realization that I was the only senior female product designer he'd ever met. And he met me like a month ago. So if ever there's a point where you go like, I can see everyone now doing the mental tallies in their head. This room is lovely, and I love that Brad's created it because actually we're about 50-50, but it does give you a slightly false impression of our industry. So it's lovely, and I love that we've come together like this, but just recognise that sadly, this much gender diversity isn't actually normal. But we can get there. So there's a couple of things we're going to focus on, because broadly it's me and Georgia. So if you want to get involved, please put your hand up. You're more than welcome, especially if she's covering up from other chaplain. But it is just the two of us, so we realised we needed to focus and we couldn't kind of go after everything, as my original intention was. So we're just looking at the UK. There's loads of stuff about gender diversity and product design happening on the West Coast, and it's really great, and we're going to learn a lot from them, but we're going to do something more UK-based. Equally, we are just looking at the design of physical things, industrial design, product design, whatever you want to call it, because we want something for that niche. That's our speciality, that's what we know. And we fully recognise that women often subtly get into CMF or research or other things. So we're going after product design explicitly. Right? You don't really need that. Equally, me and Georgia are just two girls trying to do something. So we're not experts. We haven't had loads of inclusivity training or anything like that. So we probably will say the wrong thing at a certain point, or might not use the right term. So learn with us, call us out, question us. We're just as much here to learn as you guys are. So we're kind of going to do it together, and we're going to figure it out. So how are we going to do this? Couple of different ways. So we want to really focus on increasing the retention. There's a lot of women that look to enter the industry and then leave, and we're going to try and stop them leaving at the rate that they are. We're going to look at the gender diversity of recruitment. So actually, what's your recruitment pool looking like? Why is it not gender diverse? What can you do differently? You might have to change your strategies. It might take a bit more work, but I promise you there's women out there if you go after them. Equally, we need working environments that inspire us all. There's nothing worse than a female joining a team, and I've had this, they then call me a month later and they go, I hate it. The environment's super male dominated, it's super alpha, I don't feel like I fit in. And she feels immediately rejected. That doesn't make any sense anymore. We need to change those working environments. This isn't a blame culture, but we can all be a bit better in that department and we can learn together. And equally, where Blended came from was a support network. It came from an idea that there's only 5% who spread across the country. We might as well know each other. So I was like, let's start on LinkedIn. But equally, that means there's a whole group of people that are backing the same thing. So if you've got a question, there's a whole group of people that are looking for the same answers. We're going to work right up from unis, as well as studios, as well as recruiters, to do the full length of the system. We're not quite going after schools at the moment, but I'm sure that will build in at another point. Equally, our main thing is there's so much chatter in this space that we want something actionable. So we're going to come back to you guys with actionable guides that you can go through and be like, okay, great, there's 5 points, I know I can immediately action 3, I'm going to do 2 to my boss, then chat to my mate about another one. But there's something you can actually do and implement rather than another article just discussing the issue and ending everyone writing some comments and nothing really changing. So, equally, if you want to help, get in touch with us. I was going to say, like, talking in these sort of events is a gender thing. We're not going to expect people to ask questions. That requires a certain level of confidence. You might not feel in this room. But equally, yeah, get in touch with us now, speak to us after the event, message us, even ask for a phone number and just WhatsApp us. Like, we're here. Let's go after this. Anything like that?
I completely forgot to do our introductions.
Yes.
Sorry.
We went through it.
Hi.
Could you tell us it's very rehearsed?
Yeah. I'm Georgia. Nice to meet you all. I know some of you I don't. Some I've stalked on LinkedIn, and some I've very much virtually. You've got very different pictures. I have been in the industry for about 4 years. Started at KD on my placement, moved to Seymour Powell, and then I've been at LV for the last few years. And I recently got into freelance. As freelance gave it a bit more time, Haley and I have been chatting a bit more, and yeah, that's why we had time to do this.
Yeah, so we first met at KD, which is one of my first jobs. I worked there, kind of worked my way up, and recently moved to Studio Woods as one of the senior designers. So yeah, after many sort of ranks in the pub, and us going like, this is really annoying, we decided to start something. So I hope you'll support us.
So, my name's Ed. I'm one of the ID leads at LV. I'm based here in Bristol. I was actually born in Bristol as well, so I absolutely love this city. It's stunning. And yeah, I guess like one of the first things to say is that like, I'm not an expert in this topic whatsoever. So please kind of forgive me, correct me if I say anything naive. I think it's also really important to say that Nora LV. So for anyone that doesn't know LV, our mission is to create world-class technology products to improve the lives of women across every stage of their life. You might kind of think that we've got all this stuff sorted, but like, so please excuse me. And one of the things that really surprised me when I joined LV is that we have pretty much the same number of people who studied industrial design who we're no longer in industrial design roles at LV than we do actually in our industrial design team. Can someone do a jiggle? Okay, so, and that kind of surprised me. A couple of reasons why. They're like super passionate, super talented, and notably much more diverse than the kind of typical applications that we get through the door when we might be posting a job. So I wanted to speak to these people in-house that feel like a really good resource to understand why they left our craft. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that and then go into hopefully just a couple of small little actions that we can take if we want to see some change. So some of these people left the craft just because they didn't enjoy a certain aspect of it. This could have been like a lot of them, to be honest, were like the technical aspects. Some of them, it was just a bit of a modular university that they struggled with and they were scarred by it. And they just said, fuck that. A lot of these people, I hope I'm not going to offend anyone here, moved into things like service design, UX, or research. And that's a brilliant thing because they managed to find the thing that they loved about it and honed in on that. That wasn't the case for everyone. Some people just found out a lot of it. This is a quote from someone who works at LV. The world doesn't need a shit design chair by me. And maybe that's true. I guess we'll just never know. But that wasn't the case for everyone. This is someone else that I spoke to. And some people did start out in industrial design, but they just really struggled with the ways of working and the culture in the industry. So they weren't seeking a better fit for them. And this isn't an isolated case. This happens more than we think. Brad, you shared some numbers on your LinkedIn a little while ago from the university. How many female designers over 20 years stayed in the profession? A third. But that included people that went into graphic design and other roles as well. So this is kind of what I wanted to have a little bit of a talk about today is if we want to see this change, what can we do? This is like a good opportunity for us to try and do something because there's some really brilliant, great initiatives that are going on, but actually sometimes even these small steps can have a really big impact. So, bit of a hoo-ha for this man again. Like, it was really great to see the internship pledge go live, and we were, one of the companies that we wanted to get behind and support it. It was also brilliant to see other companies in Bristol do exactly the same thing. We can't afford to let industrial design look like some undervalued, underpaid profession because the reality, that's part. That isn't the case, is it? Now, I don't have an initiative to share this evening.
Next year.
If I had a bit more time, maybe we could have done it. I don't have an initiative to share. But instead, what I did want to do is talk about 3 little things that I think can have a really big impact when it comes to creating inclusive workplaces. Be that gender, be that ethnicity, be that everything that makes us individual. So that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about for the next couple of minutes. So our first little idea that we've kind of literally recently launched is kind of all about how we manage leave. Specifically, how we support people when they get thrown a little curveball in their life, be it big or small, but also how we handle those often like personally sensitive topics. So we recently launched something called Life Leave. There's a couple of other companies that have done very similar things to this as well, and this enables the team to take personal leave for anything that they deem to be personally important to them. And we don't define what's important because knows what's important to everyone else. And we don't label it or ask questions. It's purely based on trust, respect, and autonomy. And by doing this, what we hope to do is address some of the stigma that's attached to certain types of leave that can be really damaging, and ultimately just be a little bit more inclusive of everyone's needs. Because things like when we went through the pandemic, who was it that struggled the most? Well, there's probably a couple of answers to that. But mums struggled a hell of a lot. They were the ones that ultimately were much more likely to drop out of work or at least reduce their hours somewhat. And we just can't see that happen. So be it emergency care, be it supporting a friend through a difficult time, be it supporting yourself through a really difficult time, or just even moving house.
that's what LB's kind of life lead policy is about. And it's been really successful so far. Within a couple of weeks, we have people using it, and the response has been really great. Appreciate that's not super easy for everyone in this room to do. One of the things that is running manual for me sessions. So put simply, a manual for me is a kind of fun user manual for working with you. And this could be shared back to the team via a workshop or one-to-one session. You know, you can ask questions such as, when it comes to communication, what do you like, what do you struggle with? You know, when do you prefer meetings in the morning and in the afternoon? Even what language would you like me to use when I address you? Something that we will fuck up on or that we probably want to admit. And ultimately, you know, maybe some smaller things as well. You've got a cat person. Now, this is a really simple way to get to know your teams a little bit better, their working preferences, their needs, so that you can address topics like disability, like neurodiversity in a really safe space, and build those inclusive ways of working. When we started this, I was really surprised. I've worked with some people at LB and various difficult for coming to 10 years now. I was so surprised how much I didn't know about them. So it's been a really valuable activity for us, and I really recommend other people to get involved. However, actually, one of the most beneficial things of doing this has been all about meeting cultures. So I don't know if anyone else has kind of bugbears of meeting cultures like me, but by doing this and understanding how people like to communicate, we can try and create this kind of slightly more organic, natural, comfortable meeting environment where actually everyone's ideas are heard. Because we're in the ideas business, if we don't get this right, it's not very good. And I think ultimately, if people don't feel they can contribute ideas, they can be credited for their ideas, they're not going to feel very valued. And ultimately, over time, they probably will be. So, I mean, if anyone wants to try this, it's loads of the sites kind of like manual for me online with 5 days to 10 days for doing. You could also, feel free to reach out to us. We'll happily share what we do. So the last one for me, is all about mentorship. And I think one thing that's always kind of been on my mind is how welcoming industrial design can feel to people starting out. I think creative industries often have this perception of feeling quite exclusive. So be that television, branding, design, all of these industries feel quite hard to get into. And ultimately, that's only going to be amplified when you get people that aren't well represented in those industries as well. We hear a lot about people struggling to get jobs in them. And I think, how many bad impressions does it take? How many rejection letters or just kind of shitty emails or no responses at all before people just start to look elsewhere? And I bet you it's not half as many as we think. So actually, this is something that I would, call to action for some of the younger designers. One of the things I think is really important is that people have access to mentors that have recently lived experience of what they're going through. So this is, don't wait 10, 20, 30 years before you start mentoring. Get on it now. It could be as simple as a reassuring chat, all the way up to a portfolio review, helping with a course or something like that. But a friendly face is going to go such a long way, especially if someone's on the cusp of maybe kind of diverting out and going into, let's face it, the rest. I think going back to that kind of the second point, not the shit show, the one after it. Would that person have left so quickly if they had a mentor helping them along those kind of early days? And again, we won't know. But what I do know is that we're going to remember the help and support we gave other people much, much more than the work we've done when we come to kind of look back on our careers. So, I mean, there's loads of great platforms and things you can do. Sonny's mentioned them, maybe mental in the gap is another one. I think it's even as simple as, and Brad, we've spoken about this before, like putting on your LinkedIn and what for doing it. Wouldn't it be nice if hiring had an open to mentorship that was squiggle? Because people feel like empowered to come and do it. And I think Ben's here, Ben's in the room. Ben recently supported offsite call for mentors at Advanced Design. sounds like that was a really great experience, wasn't it, Ben? Massive thumbs up. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is, I think if we can get these little things right, which is all the stuff that we can do, then we can rely on the great initiatives from people like Sunny, Georgia, Hayley, Brad, to get some of the big picture stuff right. We're going to be a really good place to make change happen quickly. And for me, that's really, really exciting. So, yeah, thank you very much. That's all I have to say.